Welcome back to Melody Guitar Book 2. This book focuses on learning how to read and play melodies in standard music notation. You can watch all these videos for free, but it's going to be a lot easier to learn if you have your own copy of Melody Guitar 2 that you can read from and write in, plus you can support an independent music teacher. So I'll leave a link in the description. We're on pages 57 and 58, and we have a new type of repeat. We're going to look at the D.C. all fine marking and the D.C. all coda marking. At the bottom of page 57, we have a new type of repeat. This is the D.C. marking, which stands for da capo. Literally, it means to go back to the head. When you see a D.C. marking, you jump back to the very beginning. At the bottom of page 57, we have number 111, Alouette, 4/4 time, quarter equals 108. So that's the tempo we're going to be going for. And this has, at the very end, a D.C. all fine marking. So the D.C. part of that means you jump back to the beginning. The all fine part of that means you stop at the fine marking, or the end. And notice there's a fine marking at the end of the first line, and that's where we're going to stop. Normally we would stop at the very end, but because of that marking, we stop at the fine bar. And also notice there's a final bar line with that fine marking. Normally you see that final bar line at the very end of the written music. In this case, because that's where we're going to stop, that's where the final bar line is. So what we do for Alouette is we play the first line, play the second line, the D.C. all fine bounces us back to the very beginning, and then we continue playing until we reach the end of that fine bar. Let's take a look at the music itself now. At the beginning, we have a dotted quarter note C followed by an eighth note D. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. And we have staccatos under those E's, so those are going to be separated. Then we have some eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. There's your new low G. Then the same notes and rhythms as the beginning. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And again, notice we have staccatos under those E's in the third measure. Going on, this is just basically a little 5-note scale going up and down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 with alternate picking. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Middle G, low G, and then basically a little tiny scale going down with accents, so these are going to be a little louder. And then we go back to the beginning because of the D.C. marking. And then we stop at the fine bar. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. To the beginning. At the top of page 58, we have number 112. This is in common time, quarter equals 126. So that's your goal tempo. As always, if that's a little fast, use a metronome to find a slower speed that you can play comfortably and then gradually build up your speed. This one has a new type of marking. We have a D.C. again, but this time we have a coda marking. So looking through this, we can see at the end of the third line, there's a D.C. al coda. Now, even though there's more music, as soon as you see that D.C. marking, you jump back to the beginning. This time, because of the al coda marking, we're looking for, well, a 2 coda marking, which you can see at the end of the first line. Now, sometimes you'll see the words 2 coda, and then sometimes you'll see that little coda sign, which looks like that little target, and then sometimes you'll see a combination, which I like to do. Anyway, as soon as you're finished playing that 2 coda marking, after you've repeated, you jump down to the coda, which is at the bottom of your music. That last line is just a couple measures. So We play to the end of the third line, jump back to the beginning, play to the to coda marking, and then we jump to the coda. Let's take a look at some of the music in this one now. We have D's to A's. Those are on separate strings, so if you like, you could have your A prepared. Now we have a rest on beat 3 in the second measure, so make sure that's 1, 2, mute. 1, 2, 3, rest. D's and A's again. 1, 2, mute. Down, up, down. 1, 2, 3, rest. In the third measure of the second line, we have a dotted rhythm. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. Watch the rhythm here. 1 and 2. And then third line, we have more dotted rhythms. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now notice above this G, in the third measure of the third line, I've marked the fingering 1. That makes it much easier to reach that A. A lot of times I like to play this high A with my third finger. So I can use the E right before that G, that open note, to move to third position. Third position means your first finger is at the third fret, and then place your third finger on the A. And notice my first finger is still on the G here because now I have to play 4 and 1, or A, G, A. So I might as well keep that first finger down because I have to go back to it anyway. I'm going to do that third line so you can hear all that together. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Now we jump back to the beginning because of the DC marking and play to the two codas. So here we are at the beginning again. 1, 2, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3. Now, after you play these 2 eighth notes, we're jumping to the very bottom where we have the coda marking. So that's going to be to that A right there. I'm going to play the last 2 measures of the first line and then jump right to the coda. 1, 2, 3. And now we slow down here because of the retard marking. And then we have a fermata above that D. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, rest. 2, 3, rest. 2, 3, beginning. 2, 3, rest. To the coda. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Your assignment is to practice numbers 111 and 112 and make sure you follow those DC, Fine, and Coda markings. Circle those markings if you need to. As always, work on keeping a steady tempo by playing along with the video or play along with the metronome so you can choose your own tempo. And don't forget to order a copy of Melody Guitar Book 2. You can watch all these videos for free, but it's going to be a lot easier to learn if you have your own copy of Melody Guitar 2 that you can read from and write in, so I'll leave a link in the description. Take your time with this, and then when you're ready, I'll see you at the bottom of page 58. We're going to be looking at DS, Fine, and Coda markings.